this poor girl that's on my staff, she um is super polite, and as you should be when you work in customer service and that kind of stuff. But this guy was going off about religion, very Christian, and that's fine. Like, I think it's fine to say something briefly, but like, just was like trying to argue with her. And she's more spiritual, she isn't like atheist, but she doesn't put a label on it. And I was like, hey, I need your help changing a CO2 tank. You don't need help with that. That's a very simple thing. You close the valve, you unscrew it, you hook up the next one, open the valve. It's like changing propane. So no, I didn't need her help, but she knew right away. She's like, thank you. And I go, yeah, because he followed her off of stands. So she was lifeguarding. So one, he was distracting her while she was lifeguarding, or like trying to. And then when they get down from lifeguarding, they go to the front desk. And then he followed her there and kept trying to continue this conversation that was clearly making her uncomfortable. And I'm like, you people should stop. Like, if you're making someone uncomfortable, but maybe they just have no sense. Like, maybe they just don't, I don't know, get that feeling when you're making someone uncomfortable. What is that called? When you can't read the room,
Oh, jeez.
But like reading the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, they can't read the room. That's a good way to put it. But, I mean, yeah, they probably just don't have any sense. Like, if they're going to, like, a public rec center, and they're like, I'm going to talk to the staff about religion. That's a weird, like, this is what I'm going to do today.
Well, at first I didn't think they were that bad because, they'd hand us a little pamphlet that had some doctrine on it, and I'm like, oh, that's a polite way to do it. Hey, read this if you have time or if you're interested. I wrote it, blah, 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 blah. And it's, just about God and what being Christian is. And then it had, like, his contact information, like his email if you had questions or whatnot. And I'm like, that's an appropriate way to do it. This little, like, pamphlet you made, that's appropriate.
Mhm.
But for some reason, this day, and it's the first day, he was, like, hounding her. And I'm like, I gotta do something to get her out of this. She's been on this conversation for almost an hour.
Jeez.
Like, how do you not have something better to do with your time?
Yeah, that's torture.
Like, didn't you come to work out? I don't understand. Like, the patron, like, you would think you're there for a workout. Why are you wasting an hour of your time and her time?
You know the show What We Do in the Shadows?
Mm-hmm.
How they have those energy vampires who like feed
yes,
off of
oh my
boring
God.
and make it. That's what that
He'd
dude
be
was.
An energy.
He's an energy vampire.
I also love in that show that they call him by his first and last name.
Colin Robinson.
Colin
Yeah.
Robinson.
That
I
show
also
is so
love
good.
the actor they picked because he's in the later seasons of The Office.
Yeah, that show is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've had a lot of wild conversations and interactions in my time.
Oh yeah. They make for good stories though. Like you're uncomfortable in the moment, but then it's like now like the whitey tighty weather conspiracy theorist guy. It's like that's a hilarious story. Just some guy like in nothing but whitey tighties, like
a coincidence,
just blasting off on conspiracy theories, and it's like, dude, you like you have any idea how crazy you look right now? It's one thing to just be like ramped up on it, but to do it in your whitey tighties, like in public, is crazy.
Well, the reason I was thinking of that story specifically today was because I was talking to the guards about how men's locker rooms are so much worse than women's. Not cleanliness-wise. Cleanliness-wise, women's locker rooms are always messier because they do everything in there.
Yeah.
They shave, they curl their hair, they do everything in there. Women are disgusting. But in the men's locker room, you get the bold, older men that will be like, we used to have one at the old place I worked at that would like Captain Morgan pose, like put his foot up on a bench while shaving his sack and just start full conversations with people like no shame, dude.
Damn.
But like but I tell that story and it's your typical male locker room experience. Like I hear that that's a regular thing. Just like brave old naked men just full on having a conversation like they aren't standing there naked, and the one guy shaving his balls is wild. Like, while
Yeah.
he's imagine someone trying to have a serious conversation with you while he's got his sack in his hand and he's like reaching to shave. Like, I'm just imagining that. It's like, how do you focus on anything else? Because you're like, I don't want to look at it, but
Just sitting
like,
there. Let me tell you about big glitter. Just like, oh damn, all right.
so funny. Cracks me up.
Yeah, people are wild.
So, one of the most embarrassing like accidents or injuries you've had,
Embarrassing accidents.
or injuries, like something that was just
When I was in like third grade, I went ice skating for the first time with like some of my like school friends. It was like, one of my friends, and then there was like two girls in our class that were with us, and I didn't know how to ice skate, but like, I'm like a little kid. I was like figuring it out, and I slipped on the ice and fell flat on my face and smashed my face off the ice, and just got this giant black eye, and I'm like, I was in third grade, so of course I cry in front of these two girls and my friend, and I was like, because you know, but that
because
was
you're a pansy ass bitch, is what
yeah.
I'm hearing.
But then I had to go to school the next like week with a black eye, and everybody knew how it happened because there was kids there that saw it happen. So I was like, I fell on my face on the ice, and just that was embarrassing. Ooh, another one. This wasn't really an injury, but this was just embarrassing as well. I used to get poison ivy really bad, and when I was in eighth grade, so eighth grade's already like a really awkward time. I got poison ivy just all over myself, like my face. I got it all on one side of my face, so my face swelled up all on one side. I looked like Jekyll and Hyde, like the half and half, like
Mm-hmm.
half normal face, just half fucked up face. Like my eye was closed; it was so swollen. I had like my ear had like a growth on it.
What about your nether
Oh,
regions?
my balls were fucked up.
Oh,
I was fucked up with poison ivy. But the first day I had it, I was like, my parents were like, you don't have to go to school. They took me to the doctors. We got some medicine for it. But the next day, I was like, it still hadn't gone down yet. And I was like, I don't want to go to school today. Like, don't make me go to school like this. But my parents were like, no, go. You're going to school. So I had to go into eighth grade just with my fucked up face, and everyone was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I distinctly remember like we
I,
were waiting we were waiting to like go into class in the hallway one day, and I was like standing at my locker, and these people walked up to me. There's like a group of people, and it was the good side of my face. So they like start talking to me or whatever, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I turned to like look at them, and they all went, "Whoa!" Because like they saw because like I just revealed the fucked up side of my face, and I was pretty mortified by that.
I have a story about
But
being a Two-Face.
yeah,
So I use the reference Two-Face because Batman.
yep,
Uh, I was in like I still lived at the Pet Cemetery property, so I had to be in like kindergarten or first grade, maybe second grade, and we had a black paved driveway, and black ice is a real thing. But I was racing to the bus because I was already running a little bit behind, and I slipped and slid on my face.
oh,
Yeah, and I get on the bus because I'm a trooper at this point. Like, I'm not, a whiny ass little baby. And I'm like bleeding. I've got some like gravel in my face. And my bus driver just looks at me horrified, like, do you need to go get your parent? And I go, I can't be late for school. I just need some tissues. And I went and took my seat on the bus. I was kind of a badass as a kid.
yeah,
You know what? Where it stemmed from, though, is like I used to hear my family was very much a boys don't cry family.
hmm
And so when my brother was first told that, I was like, fuck that, girls don't cry. So I was stubborn. I was very picky and choosy when I would cry. It had to be pretty significant for me to cry. But like now, probably after puberty hit, and estrogen's the devil. So now I'm more sensitive. But I remember like movies hadn't made me cry. Like that wasn't until like after high school. I had like one movie to date after high school that I had cried during.
I
But then now I watch like movies and I'm like, oh my god.
so the first movie that like almost made me cry, and like I think if I was in a better environment, I would have cried. When I was a freshman in high school, our math teacher played Up for us one day as like a movie day.
Mm.
And I don't know how old you are. You're what, 15, 16 when you're a freshman. And we're sitting in math class, and then he starts playing Up, and the first 10 minutes of that movie
It was
is
the
the
fucking saddest.
saddest thing you'll ever see.
Oh my god.
And the whole class is dead silent, and like my throat hurts. Like I could
Yeah, 'cause
feel
you're
it
like
coming on.
holding,
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm 16 years old and a freshman in high school. I'm like, I can't cry over a Pixar movie right now.
Nope.
That would be the death of me if that happened. But I remember just sitting there being like, what am I watching? I was like, this is awful. But the whole class was silent. It makes me wonder if like everybody else was kind of like, oh my god.
Well,
Like,
it's really
yeah.
sad because it goes like through this cute little like they meet, they get married.
And then,
Boom, they struggle with fertility, which
yep,
is like a heavy subject for a Pixar movie.
yep.
Struggle with fertility.
They never have
Never
kids
have kids. She gets sick
and
and
dies.
dies before him.
And then he's alone.
And then
I'm like,
he's
oh my
alone and
god.
like this bitter old man. Oh
Yeah.
my god. And it just wraps like up a like sad life, but like happy because they had each other.
Yeah,
But then
dude.
he
It
had
was,
no one.
oh.
Oh, it's so fucking sad.
Yeah, if I was by myself, like at home, and I watched that, I probably would have cried. But like, I was
Mhm.
in math class in high school, and I was
Why
like, I
was he
can't cry.
showing it in
I was
math
like,
class? Like,
this guy was a weirdo.
oh,
Like, he
yeah.
was such a strange guy. But
Sounds like he just didn't want to teach that day, so
yeah,
he put on a movie.
put on a movie. That's what it sounded like. But
The first movie I cried that I remember is Secondhand Lions. Have you ever seen Secondhand Lions?
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it's when, so, synopsis, they have a lot of money. These two old, distant uncles from the nephew that they're raising, pretty much. They have a lot of money, and the nephew's like, you should consider, seeing what these solicitors have to offer. So they buy a lion to hunt, which is a really fucked up concept. But the lion is lame. Like, it's older, it doesn't want to run, and it becomes this boy's, like, best friend. And he takes care of it, he feeds it, he plays with it. And then the mom comes back into the picture with this abusive guy, like, who starts hitting the kid. Who's, like, a teenager, but, like, a kid. And the lion attacks him.
Hell yeah.
But the lion's heart gives out
Hmm.
as it attacks him. And I just remember crying. I go, he died saving the boy he loved.
Yeah.
That's the first one.
is a sad one.
Animals, man, still, like, to this day, get me. If I'm in, like, a sad mood, it's funny because, like, we were watching New Girl and she goes, don't mind me, I'm just going to be watching videos of dogs when their owners never come home. Such a girl thing, I swear, because I do the same thing. I like watch the really sad ones are like the cop or police dogs that like won't leave the coffin. Have you ever seen any of those?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so sad. But when I my throat hurts and I can't get past that point where I need to cry, and it would feel better to make myself cry. I watch sad ass videos on YouTube of.
Yeah, it's weird the effect like animals have on me. I'm totally more like sympathetic and caring for like animals that are suffering than people.
It's not weird though.
Like I was in the military, I worked in like medical units. Like
Mhm.
I've seen some pretty gory stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me at all. But one of my recent jobs I had to like one of the things I had to do was I had to like kill a lot of the mice
Yeah.
and mouse traps, clearing out like the baby nests. And I have nightmares about it. Like I just
Mhm.
recently had a nightmare where like I was eating this cupcake, took a bite out of
Yeah.
the cupcake, and then the cupcake was filled with baby mice and they all fell out.
Yeah.
And it was mortifying. But I have like it's crazy how much like you're like whatever, they're mice, you gotta kill them, it's whatever. But it's crazy how much that fucked me up. Like that actually fucked me up.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
it tortures me today.
fucked you up. That's a little extreme,
I
but
have fucking nightmares about it, dude.
everybody has nightmares though about weird ass shit sometimes.
I don't know, man. I've seen kids with like gunshot wounds in their head, and that didn't bother me. But like poor baby mice that have to get like thrown out and like killed and everything.
Kids
Yeah,
like under 16.
yeah, yeah. That doesn't bother me. I've never had a nightmare about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird with the animal thing because the one thing that animals have and remains intact is their innocence.
Yeah,
Especially dogs. I mean, they are so loyal to a fault where they'll be loyal to a shitty owner.
yeah.
And it's so sad. Like it makes me so sad to think what Rosie went through before us.
Oh, I know.
Like I don't think whoever had her before had patience or the ability to take care of her. I think she was malnourished.
Yeah.
I think that's why she gets so like
Food crazy.
food
Yeah.
crazy. And it just makes me sad because like think what's going on in their head. Like, in our head we're like, "Oh, I haven't ate. I'm hungry. Why haven't I ate?" Like we can kind of think about it more whereas dogs are like, "Do they not love me? Did they forget to feed me?" Like they don't know.
Yeah,
Makes me
I
sad.
think that kind of plays into why I have so much sympathy for animals is because yeah, they're innocents. They don't
Yeah.
know, you know.
Especially dogs, man. Dogs are so.
Yeah.
It makes me sad to just think, like, because that movie, The Secret Life of Pets, did you ever see that?
Um, no, but I've heard of it.
Well, it kind of like,
Yes, yeah. Is that the one where they're like living in the apartment?
yeah,
Yeah. I've seen that.
but it kind of portrays that like 5 minutes for a dog feels like hours. So
Yeah.
when you're gone from the house for an hour, it feels like days for them.
Yeah.
Makes me sad.